領域展開
Hi guys, my name's Justin. I'm going to be going over my starting deck for this series. Basically, this whole series is heavily inspired by a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh content creators, where they do budget a budget series as if they were a new player to this card game, to a card game, for example. I thought it would be fun to see that being applied to Grand Archive, so I'm going to be taking on the Recollection Challenge, where basically I will be only playing Guo Jia, or I bought the Guo Jia Recollection deck. Basically, have it here. I sleeved it up, but I'm going to be approaching Grand Archive for the rest of this current season as if I were a new player and only playing Guo Jia. I think there's not a lot of avenues, or at least not a lot of current resources for players outside of promoted content creators. So I thought, hey, let me put my drop in the bucket. So first off, I'll just go over the deck profile that we'll start off with. I think it's pretty simple. Like I said, this is only straight up out the Recollection deck, so let's get into it real quick. Spirit of Fire, Guo Jia, 1, 2, and 3. And then we have Rousing Rattle Drum, Life Essence Amulet, Portentous Tongu, Terrafring, and then Faded Keepsake, Band of Burning Verdict, Incandescent Reliquary, and then the Fabled Azurite Fatestone, aka Seiryu. Basically, every week I will be upgrading this deck. And then I guess part of the challenge is that I will limit myself to about $10 per week. That includes my locals entry. So whatever packs I get from actually playing, so my event pack, I will add that to the total of the $10, and then the $10 rolls over every week. So pretty much that's my budget. Outside of that, let's continue onto the deck. I already organized a bit of it. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a bit mixed up, but that's fine. So I'll go over the Fatestones first, pretty much in no particular order, actually. Maybe I should just organize it real quick. Let me see. Yeah. So straight out the box, I think the Recos actually give you a lot of great things for a beginner, great cards for a beginner. So pretty much you have 4 Fatestone of Revelations, pretty much are in archetypical Fatestone for Baby Gray. Baby Gray is from Sylvie. Companion Fatestone, Craggy Fatestone, I love this one. Lava Plume Fatestone, and then 2 Unrelenting Fatestone of Unrelenting, and then 3 Fatestone of Heaven. Ratios wise, I just put these together because typically I want to focus more so on the mid game. Each one of these is actually more relevant transformed. For example, Unrelenting, this is only at 2 because it's fast damage. When it's transformed, it turns back into the stone. So I really don't care about that for the most part. Fatestone of Heaven, this is one of the better ones actually. This is a removal piece. Removal Fatestone, we can just use it to remove things on board. And then the transformation is just on death, he can heal. He also has vigor. He's just a pretty good body, but the only way that we can transform him is if we reveal 3 Reluxum cards from paying for its effect. And the only downside is that it's a slow ability, slow speed ability, as well as only once per turn. So that's the only drawback for him. The Lava Plume Fatestone, this is one of the better ones. Pretty much you just pay 4, and then immediately you can use it almost similar to another card that's more prominent in the Grand Archive meta game, Hasty Messenger, where you attack with it, and then on attack you may discard a card and then draw a card. So pretty much this is one of our cycle engine pieces. Let's see, Craggy Fatestone, I love this card. This card is actually crazy cracked in the early game. The earlier that we can drop this, the earlier that our opponent gives us more value by trying to play 0-cost regalia, like such as Grand Crusader's Ring, and other things that can limit them. So this guy can get pretty big the longer that he stays on the board. Companion Fatestone, just a support Fatestone. Pretty much if a transformed Fatestone is already on the board and it has died for any reason at all, even from our own effects, we can just transform him, and then he has Intercept and Retort 2. So he has Intercept and he can crack back to units / allies for 3. Pretty good body. And then I guess another good cycle piece is just Fatestone of Revelation. More so we use it for the Fatestone effect rather than the actual effect of his transform, the Fatebound transformation, because the Fatebound transformation is pretty simple. It's only a 2/2 outside of any other buffs or whatever it has. So that's all the Fatestones that we're currently playing. Like I said, this is everything that was in the Recollection deck, so there's no bells or whistles, nothing special from the actual set. Let's see, let's break down here. We're gonna break down the norm actions. We have Expel the Departed at 3, 4 Obscuring Threads, 4 Journey's Beginning, 4 Strengthen the Bonds, 4 Foraging Fox. Quick summaries. Expel the Departed, just pop a Fantasia on the board. We can, and then allows us to cycle more cards into our hand and through our deck if we control 2 or more Fatestones. So this is pretty good. Or Fatestone or Fatebound objects. Journey's Beginning. This is actually more so a piece that we can use to help us cycle more cards as well. So it's 3 cost, fast action, draw a card. Guo Jia bonus, so by the time we've leveled up, put a quest counter onto your champion. So pretty much in between turns, you can use this to basically further your game plan to transform the Fabled Azurite Fatestone. Obscuring Threads, 2 cost, fast action, up to 1 target Fatestone or Fatebound object gains Spell Shroud until the end of the turn. Also Floating Memory. So pretty much we can use this in the very, very early game to just use it as a floating memory if we don't want to sacrifice influence, as well as protect a lot of our Fatestones that don't have Spell Shroud. Majority of the Fatestones Fatestones do not have Spell Shroud, so when they do transform, we can still protect them as well, including our own Fabled Azurite Fatestone. Strengthen the Bonds. This is actually one of the better cards that I really like from the set. 2 cost, fast action. Put a buff counter on up to 2 target Fatestone or Fatebound objects. Downside about this is that since Fabled Azurite has Spell Shroud for both for itself, we can't target this because Spell Shroud basically says no to spell targets. If a card said choose, then we'd be able to give this a buff counter, but this is still good regardless because we can use this with other synergies to level up Craggy Fatestone, for example, to make it transform faster, as well as making our Lava Plume deal more damage when it's transformed when we want to use more cycle. So this is also another good early game card. One of the better searching cards is just a 2/1/1 body, 2 cost, 1 attack, 1 life, Foraging Fox. Norm. Pretty much on enter, look at the top 5, reveal a Fatestone card from among them, and put it into your memory. Put the rest on the bottom in any order. Pretty much the reason why we're trying to max out on a lot of the Fatestones is because we don't want this to whiff. And in order to do so, we have to have a lot of Fatestones take up a majority of our deck. In the future, this may be a piece that we may keep in the future or cut it down to 2. Just depends on how I feel about Fatestones in general. If not, I may switch this to a Fire Allies build as well. So pretty much that's all our norm support. Next up, these are in no particular order. Our fire cards: Flame Wreath Call at 3, 4 Shatter the Brittle, and then 4 Broken Promises. Flame Wreath Call is just a crazy card in my opinion. It's a 5 cost, but it costs 3 less if you control a beast ally when you are Tamer. Fast action, and then pretty much deal 3 damage to up to 2 target allies. So you can say 0, just use this to level up. But if an opponent is attacking with 2 allies and they're really threatening on board, 3 damage does a lot. So that's pretty great. Shatter the Brittle. This says 2 cost. Activate this card only if you control a Fatestone or Fatebound object. Destroy target item or weapon with memory cost 1 or less. 1 or less. Or with reserve cost 5 or less. If you do, its controller draws a card into memory. So pretty much we can use this to level up as well, or we can use this to give a card to our opponent by removing something that's pretty, I guess, important to them, or that stops us from actually playing our game. Another card, Broken Promises, 1 cost fire, fast action. As an additional cost to activate this card, sacrifice a Fatestone item or Fatebound ally, draw a card into your memory. Guo Jia bonus, put a quest counter on your champion. So the way that I really saw this card was that it's very much a catalyst card, because you can use this in conjunction with Companion Fatestone. You can sacrifice a Fatebound ally that you control, and then pretty much transform this at any time, and then just put a quest counter and draw for itself. So it's pretty much a weird card, but we do run it in order to get the quest counter and draw as well. Yes. And then now, that's all the fire cards. Let's move on to our Luxem cards, ratios wise. So we're pretty straightforward. Outside of the Luxem Fatestone, we're running 3 of everything else. Like the Hunt, pretty much 2 cost, fast action. Put 2 buff counters on target animal or beast you control. Class bonus / element bonus. Whenever you reveal this card from your memory, put a buff counter on animal or beast ally you control. Just buff counters, buff counters, buff counters. And then we have Peacock of Prosperity, 0 cost, Luxem, ally, tamer, animal bird, a 1/2, 1 power, 2 health. Class bonus, element bonus. Whenever you reveal this card from your memory, you may put a card named Peacock of Prosperity from your memory onto the field. If you do, draw a card into your memory. This card, I'm kind of 50-50 about, I'm not gonna lie. Advent of the Shenju, 4 cost, Luxem, slow action. Pretty much Guo Jia bonus, put target Fatestone from your banishment onto the field. If that card is a Regalia, put 5 quest counters on your champion. Class bonus, element bonus. Whenever you reveal this card from your memory, you may banish all cards in your memory. Draw a card into your memory for each card banished this way. So pretty much this is our saving grace if we didn't banish a lot of cards to bring out a lot of quest counters with the fabled Azurite Fatestone. Say you get to level 3 for some reason and you still don't have enough quest counters because of this effect. You can just use this in conjunction with this by the time you hit 3 in order to put more quest counters on yourself. Cool thing about this as well is that it revives this as well. So say for example, early game, mid game, we've already transformed Fabled Azurite Fatestone into Seiryu, and then our opponent gets rid of it. When it leaves the field, it transforms back into the Azurite Fatestone. In our banishment, we play this, bring this back out, and then since it's a Regalia, we gain 5. In conjunction, then we can still use other cards from banishment, or we can just use the Fatestone of Heaven to reveal this and then in conjunction with other cards in our memory, we can banish that many and then put more quest counters on our champion in order to transform this back into Seiryu. So yeah, that's pretty much the whole concept of the deck. I don't think there's not going to be a lot of advancements, in my personal opinion, that I may differ from compared to meta wise, but I think I have a good base since this is a recollection deck. More so, this is like an advanced starter deck. Yeah. Oh yeah, let me go over quickly, I guess, over the side deck. So the side deck, we're playing straight up just the Guo Jia deck. So whatever they gave us, that's pretty much all we have. So we have 1 Light the Hunt, 1 Fatestone of Heaven, 1 Peacock of Prosperity, 4 Idle Thoughts, 1 Expel the Departed, 1 Advent of the Shenju, and then 2 Fatestone of Unrelenting, and 1 Flame Wreath Call. So you'll notice here we are at 12 cards. We're missing another card if we were to try and play it meta, or missing three points basically. But yeah, pretty much that's the whole point of the challenge, I guess. We're gonna be continually upgrading the deck, trying to make it as competitive as possible, and then kind of seeing like what avenues can we switch into. I will say as well, I have a lot of bulk in my own personal collection, as well as more competitive cards. So in order to, I guess, streamline it for myself in attaining cards and trying to upgrade the deck, I will use TCG player lowest listed verified selling, or at least something along the lines of that, to justify the budget being subtracted from in order to use those cards. So say for example, I want to get 2 more copies or 5 more copies of Arcane Blast. I would go on TCG player and then see, oh, this specific printing that I currently have, this is about 10 cents. So I will subtract 50 cents altogether from the $10 total, and then so on and so forth. So, and then adding wise, whatever I pull from event packs, and if I do win at my locals, I will add that to my $10 total, and that's what I have to work for. Work with. Sorry, English is hard. But yeah, I look forward to this series actually keeping up, I guess. I'm pretty much a lazy person, so we'll see if I actually continue to progress this series. I will also be leaving a lot of I'm also open to a lot of criticism and comments down below. So if you guys want me to see me pivot, or you have some cool deck tech that you want me to try, at least in this deck for quote unquote budget for Grand Archive, I will be willing to try it. Just keep in mind that I want to try to keep it as much as close to the recollection deck as possible, almost as if I were a beginner. Another thing as well is that my locals is pretty competitive. I go to Final Cut TCG here in Sacramento, aka Gold River, and basically a lot of decks that my locals will be playing will not be available to be shown, because some people want to hide their deck techs, or for whatever reason, because say for example, at the time of me recording this, Ascent Seattle is this Saturday, and pretty much people don't want to leak their decks, so, or what sauce they may be playing at what ratios, for example. So just to help them if they don't want me to record it, I will be releasing it with a 1-week delay. So at the time of this recording, this should be 1 week from today, so this should be the 19th for me, because it also gives me time to edit and then put more extra stuff that people may need. Yeah, so I'm excited for the series. If you guys want to show support, leave a comment down below. I will also leave a lot of resources down in my comments for new players if you guys are want to pick up the game, or at least want to see how games are played. Outside of my own personal gameplay, I'll leave a lot of other resources that I think are actually useful outside of myself. Example being, join the Discord. So join the Grand Archive official Discord, as well as joining Merlin's Marketplace. Merlin's Marketplace is a great place to get cards at a reasonable price, because people are also selling cards while opening cards. Another resource I would say is probably either shoutatyourdecks.com or Sylvie Build Sylvie. I forget the name of it actually. As well as meta reports or just event reports. Fractal of Insight is the most prominent one, and then sylvie.gg. But yeah, enough yapping. I'm excited. Probably put some video or something like that, but yeah, peace.